Fish are some of the easiest animals to care for, and it's very easy to get one. You can win them in a raffle. You can buy them at the pet store for 99 cents. It's really simple, but a lot of people, unfortunately, don't know how to care for them, and that's why they die really quickly. I know as a child I went through a bunch of fish because they died, and I couldn't figure out why. It's because of what I was doing and how I was caring for them. So the number one thing, after you've gotten a nice tank and you've gotten all the necessary ingredients, make it look all pretty, you got your water, you got your fish, the first thing you're going to need to do is buy feed. What do I mean by feed? What you're going to feed your fish every day. Now I have goldfish and some tetra in here, so I have goldfish flakes. They're really, really simple to feed them. You take a nice pinch. It really doesn't matter how much, just a nice pinch. You're going to drop it at the top of your tank and do this once a day, and your fish are fed. Now, if you're going to be gone for a long period of time, you're going on vacation for about a week or a month, you can get an automatic feeder. It doesn't cost very much. Mine I only got for $5, so it really wasn't that expensive. And all it does is it rotates and it drops a bit of feed into your fish tank every single day. Now that is optional. You don't absolutely need it. I do recommend it if you go on vacation, but if you're not going on vacation, you don't need it. The next thing I have here is mini algae wafers. And what these do are these are for my suckerfish. So I have a suckerfish in the bottom here. You can't see him. He likes to hide. For this one, you can feed them once a month because they do have algae they can suck on throughout the tank. That's another thing, but also you only need that if you have a suckerfish. The next thing is when you're cleaning your tank. You're going to have to do this about once a month depending on the size of your tank. And it makes it easier when it's smaller. Mine is 10 gallons, so it makes it really, really hard. The first thing you're going to need to do is get yourself a bucket or a bowl or container, something that'll fit all your fish in. Now I have 6 fish ranging from 1 inch to 3 inches, so I have a pretty large container. This is about a 6x6 container, so it's relatively large. And what you want to do is you want to take your top off your tank. You're going to take this in, get some water, put it down, and make sure it's water from your tank, not new water, because you don't want to be taking tap water and then exposing your fish to it. That's bad. You're going to take your fish out. I have a few sizes here, about 3 sizes. Take your fish out of your tank. I recommend using 2 nets. You can distract them with one and catch them with the other one. And then you can set that aside once you've got your fish. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to want to clean all the gravel down here. Now there are 2 ways to do that. You can either A, use a sifter. You can find this in your house anywhere. It's not really that expensive. You're going to take a few cups of the gravel. You can just dump it in there. Under a sink, run some water on it, shake it out, dump it back in there. Or you can use a gravel sifter. Now this is only necessary for tanks over 10 gallons or 10 gallons, which is what mine is. It makes it a lot easier, a lot quicker, and that way you don't have to actually drain out all the water, which is what you will need to do if you have a sifter. This one you can just leave everything in the tank. You take this up and down a few times until the water gets flowing through, and then get another bucket so that the excess water can drain through. This one takes 45 minutes. Using a sifter on a 10-gallon tank takes about 2 hours, so I highly recommend the sifter if you have a big tank. After you've done that, at this point in time, your water is either completely drained or it's about halfway drained. Now what I have is a magnetic sponge. So you're going to clean the sides with this. You're going to get some water and you're just going to wipe it across the sides to get everything that's gross and yucky off of it. Once you've done all that, at this point in time, you can add the water back in. I have a 1.5 gallon bucket here that I use for tea normally, but I use it to refill the tank. You can use tap water, water from a hose, it doesn't really matter. Fill your tank all the way up to the top. Once you've done that, at this point in time, you can take your filter out. Right here, I have a smaller filter I used from an old tank. You're gonna take a pair of tweezers. You're gonna pull the filter out, throw it in the trash, and then put a new one back in, and you're good to go. Now at this point in time, you have all the water back in. Don't put your fish back in yet. At this point in time, you're going to turn off everything. You're going to turn off your filter. I have bubbles here. I'm going to turn those off. And you're going to add everything that you need to make the water safe if you're not having it sit overnight. You can have it sit overnight for 24 hours so that the water is all clean. You don't have to worry about it hurting the fish. Now for a 10-gallon tank, first off, I would need 2 buckets, which is a lot. And it takes a while. If you want to do this quick, simple, and fast, you can get a dechlorinator. This one was $2 at the dollar store, so it's really cheap and it's really, really, really helpful. This is 2 drops per gallon. I have a 10-gallon tank. That's going to be 20 drops. You add it in there, and then at this point in time, you can turn the bubbles back on so that everything circulates and you can get all the chlorine to mix around, and that this thing will take out everything that's bad. The next thing that you can add, these are optional, is a water clarifier. What it's going to do is it's going to take all the cloudiness away from the water, make it all crystal clean and clear, and you just add whatever it says in the back of the bottle. It's different for every bottle, so you have to read the back. And then the next thing you can add is a First Fish Aid. So what this does is it helps with any of your fish's problems, if they have scale problems, if they're injured, if they're sick. This helps to prevent all that and make them naturally a little bit healthier. At this point in time, you can also add a water temperature gauge. So what this thing does is it keeps the water at a specific temperature. It's a heater. So what it's going to do is it's going to heat the water to whatever temperature you need it to be at. Usually for saltwater or tropical tanks, they're going to need a specific water temperature. This is a freshwater tank and it has goldfish in it. Goldfish are very hardy. They really don't care what temperature it is. So you don't need one of these for goldfish, but if you have more advanced fish, you're going to need one of these. At this point in time, you can put your fish back in. It's been about 20 minutes. That's the allotted time that you're going to need for the dechlorinator to take its effect. So you can put them all back in. And then after doing that, you're good to go. And now you've learned how to take care of your fish, so hopefully they won't die.